Everyone, it's your favorite time of the evening. It's time to get out of pocket. It's been a while since I've said that. Everyone, welcome to Out of Pocket with Michael Davis. We have a new look. We also have a new logo, and it is 1 year of Boom Broadcasting. And before we get into a wild day, because NBA free agency started about 30 minutes ago, we had the NBA draft last week. We had a big NFL trade involving the Pittsburgh Steelers today. And we're having breaking news come in little by little. We even have some coverage on the WWE pay-per-view from this past weekend, Night of Champions, where we're going to see a rematch from WrestleMania at SummerSlam. We're covering it all for you. Now, this is quite the day because I'm not only going to be here, but you'll have some very familiar faces from Boom Broadcasting because we are celebrating 1 year of Boom. Now, I did want to take a couple minutes to say just an incredible thank you because what started as a vision and an idea and a brainstorming concept with Mouthing Off with Mike from the Nightcap has been absolutely more than what I could ever think about. And the people I will have on the panel today have been a huge part of it. There are other content creators on Boom Broadcasting, but they've also got their own shows. And obviously, we couldn't get everybody on for schedule purposes, but I did want to acknowledge some of the team members that have made this possible. And I'm going to start with some of the people you may not see today, but who knows? It's always Out of Pocket. We're live. It's always up for surprises. But I want to say thank you to all 541 subscribers of you, because that is an incredible feat, especially for a channel that is just 1 year old. We started this journey on July 1st, and everybody has been absolutely incredible. So if you're one of the subscribers, thank you. If you're not one of the subscribers yet, guess what? You can hit that subscribe button. It's free, and then you can get this thank you from me. I digress. But a huge thank you to them. A huge thank you to Flywheel Co-working, who used to operate Masthead, where I would stream a lot of my shows from Boom Broadcasting from that podcast studio. It's not here anymore. If you're in the Wilkes County area, tell people you really want that podcast studio back. Just saying. And then we got to get into some of the team. And again, I mentioned Mike from Mouthing Off with Mike, his brainstorming session. It felt like we were back in college. That's how crazy it was. We stayed up way hours of the night. And he was huge and instrumental in having Boom Broadcasting launch exactly when it did. A lot of sleepless nights, a lot of hours put into that. And Mouthing Off with Mike really took the ball and ran with it. He did a lot of live streams for wrestling content, and it's at nighttime, so watch at your discretion because his takes are kind of out of pocket, if you know what I'm saying. And then you had another guy who, when we launched July 1st, we were scrambling, but Sean Lucas really stepped up and was one of the people who dropped content that first week. And not only brought his own wrestling podcast, but also brought a TV and movie review podcast. And I told people from the beginning, Boom was not a sports channel. It was not a wrestling channel. I wanted this place to exist because I wanted people to talk about their passions. And Sean was able to do that. And a huge shout out to some of the people that are not going to be on the show today. Carson, who I know from Appalachian State University, ran with his Lombardi party. He's helped Aaron with Hoops and Helmets this year, and he provides really weird insight, but he might be right on Nikola Jokic being a top 10 NBA player of all time. Chris DeLuca, the host of Dugout Debrief, he started his baseball podcast at a really difficult time because baseball was winding down. And for somebody who could cover the offseason as well as he did, he deserves kudos as well. Another one is Wayne Thomas. He brought Jason in for Sideline Savants, a fantasy football podcast, and we call him the commish. He's Mr. Charm City Nitro. He's also the model. I mean, he has way more nicknames than he probably deserves, but shout out to Wayne. And then a very special shout out to Cody from Drew Code Sports Talk. He doesn't necessarily have a show on Boom Broadcasting. You see him a lot on our content, but he has taken care of so many behind the scenes stuff, especially in the year of 2025. And so I wanted to say a special thank you for Cody and all the work he does that doesn't get rewarded. And speaking of some of our subscribers, Booking Like a Mark has been with us since day one. They were a day one subscriber, and they're saying happy first birthday. And hey, we're one. Aren't we supposed to get a cake with some candles? Like a lot of these toys, like those are the first birthdays I've been to. Where's our cake? I guess we'll have to settle for somebody else who helped with the launching week of Boom Broadcasting. He dropped his episode pretty quickly with some quick hits. We got podcast_Smitty, Shannon Smith joining the party. Shannon, it's great to have you, my friend.
Man, Mike, last birthday I got out of pocket. I didn't get out of pocket for my birthday, but we got out of pocket on the birthday of Boom Broadcasting, which makes it even better. So, man, good to have you back. Glad to see you. Glad to be on one of my favorite shows here on Boom Broadcasting.
Hey, happy belated birthday, Shannon. Technically, this is an early birthday because July 1st is tomorrow for Boom Broadcasting, but we have to complete it on the 365th day. And so next, we mentioned Carson, the co-host of Hoop and Helmets, but this guy has really helped our live stream take it to another level because not only is the other co-host of Hoops and Helmets, but he's also the host of the Gridiron Address. And before I welcome him on, I brainstormed with him before last season, and he's like, I feel like we could really do something on Sunday evenings with the NFL. And he took the end of the afternoon games right before the Sunday night primetime game, and he made it special. And I would stop watching the content that's on CBS and Fox and ESPN because I knew he was going to bring it every single week. We got the host of the Gridiron Address and the co-host of Hoops and Helmets. We got Aaron Schneider in the building. Whoa. Aaron, please tell me you're not wearing a Panthers jersey today.
I am not. I got a Marcus Mariota Titans jersey that I bought in 8th grade, and by some miracle, it still fits me. So I'm rocking that for today's show.
How's that even possible?
You know, I don't know. I found it in my closet just a few hours ago. I was like, oh, hey, I'll try it on. It fits. I don't know what to tell you, but it fits.
If it fits, it ships, and that is incredible. Now, I mentioned Aaron's co-host, Carson, but I also mentioned somebody else's co-host of Sideline Savants. I mentioned Wayne, the model Thomas, and he introduced me to a certain guy from New York. If I walked across this guy and saw him wearing a Giants jersey, I wouldn't vibe with him. I wouldn't jive with him, but I started seeing his appearances on Sideline Savants. I was like, okay, this guy might have something. I brought him on Outta Pocket, tried to make fun of him. He held his own. And then he ended up saying, hey, I really like basketball. Let me try an NBA podcast. And he likes to say that he can actually play basketball. And so instead of the layups he misses, he's like, how about I do a 3 from deep 3 times a week? He's been holding it down on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays during the regular season and the postseason. And this guy has just been a huge blessing to me, both professionally and personally. He's helped hold down the fort over the last couple months when Outta Pocket's been MIA, but he really needs to be an MIA fan instead of Mr. NY himself. We got the host of 3 from Deep, Jason Colenso. And Jason, I had to take your little blazer idea today.
Yeah, man, it's happy anniversary, happy born day. I am over the moon honored to be here, man. What an unbelievable feat Thank you very much, Michael Davis. Thank you to all these guys. Thank you to Boom Broadcasting, man. This has been such. It has been such an honor to be on this channel and for you guys to believe in me and to be here and you getting past the New York stuff and still allowing me to come on here and be on your channel. So I am deeply honored, deeply grateful. And man, I'm just excited to be here with all of you. This is awesome.
Hey, it's great to have everybody here, and we're having the comments, and you guys get to comment live. This is why we do Outta Pocket Live. Sean, I mentioned the host of Wrestling of Destiny, and It Stinks. It's time to get Outta Pocket on the anniversary show. And Drew Code Sports Talk, this is probably being run by Cody, the guy who does a lot of our behind-the-scenes stuff, and even helped and really created the logo, the new logo you see in that top corner, Outta Pocket, with Michael Davis. It's back. Let's go. And honestly, if you're familiar with this show, we don't spend the first 10 minutes just gabbing around. We wanted to be sentimental, but we got that out of the way because we have a very controversial topic. We're going to get to the NBA free agency. We have some news breaking in, but I want to start with a little bit of the draft last week. Cooper Flagg goes number 1 to the Dallas Mavericks. Everybody was, the NBA lottery is rigged and Well, let me just say, Luka Doncic is a special player. Nico Harrison should have never traded this man. But things work out. They go get a Duke guy. Everybody knows I love my Duke products. And this might be one of the most promising Duke prospects we have seen in a really, really long time. Jason Tatum was great. Kyrie Irving was great. Zion Williamson, if he was able to stay healthy and kept his weight down, he might be good. But Cooper Flagg, he is off the charts. He is the type of character you want in your locker room. He will play unselfishly, and he is getting inserted into a Mavericks roster with Anthony Davis, Kyrie Irving, Klay Thompson, Derek Lively. Who knows if PJ Washington returns? Reports are saying D'Angelo Russell signed with the Mavericks today. And so the Mavericks, even without Luka, have some promise. And so my question to you guys, am I out of pocket for saying that in 5 years the Mavericks are going to be saying Luka who? Because Cooper Flagg is that next guy. Jason, you're the basketball guy. Am I out of pocket for that?
You're skating a thin line right now. Look, Cooper Flagg, I talked about that earlier on the show that dropped today. Cooper Flagg is a special dude, and I can see them next year making noise in the West with that lineup. If that lineup stays healthy, Kyrie Irving comes back healthy, AD stays healthy, stays on the court, he's a top 10 player in the NBA. Everybody that says Cooper Flagg, you hear it from players, and that's what I think I really am excited about Cooper Flagg is the players are excited to see him play. You're not just hearing it from GMs and other guys just talking about him. It's the players that are excited because when he went to the Olympics and showed out and really showed his talents, those NBA players are like, yo, this kid's got it. But it all has to do with Luka Doncic. If that Lakers team, if they can build around him, you got LeBron James coming back next year for his 23rd season. So if the Lakers can put some more around him, if they win a chip first and Luka gets a ring before the Mavs make any noise, then I think you're going to hear this trade come back to haunt them. Cooper Flagg is going to be great. He is the future. He's going to have to do some really special things in the next couple of years before Luka does to really kind of squash the taste of that Nico trade, because it's still a bad taste in a lot of Dallas fans' mouth right now. I mean, just think you had the top 5 player in the NBA on your team and you traded away for a really nothing. I mean, there's a lot of other trades that happen out there that got more. Kevin Durant got more. A 36-year-old that hasn't won anything got more than Luka Doncic. So, but Cooper Flagg, I'm excited to watch him. The way this Dallas Mavericks team is constructed, they have a chance. I put them in my top 5 to win the championship next year. If this team is healthy and Cooper Flagg is that dude, watch out West. Dallas is going to say something, but they need to if they want to get past this.
Aaron, rings, if you put a ring on the finger, all is forgotten. All is forgotten in the world of sports. And if this works out, Nico will go from one of the most hated front office people in the entire association to, oh my goodness, is he a genius for going the defensive direction? Of course, I would have loved to see, and I personally love Luka Doncic, and I love my Duke Blue Devils. Like Luka and Cooper building around that for a while would have been very enticing. But I mean, if they go the defensive route with Anthony Davis and he stays healthy and that ring is on that finger, Aaron, all is forgotten, right?
Without a doubt, but I heard an if in there that really bugs me. That's if Anthony Davis stays healthy. Kyrie Irving is going to be back middle of January, best case scenario, very easily February. So immediately this year, we might not see that. And earlier you mentioned 5 years down the line. I don't think Kyrie and AD have 5 years playing at the level that they do. They'll be 38 and 37 respectively. At that point, they're going to be on the downhill of their career. I think not this coming season, the one after that, that's when we're really going to see what Dallas is able to do. They'll have a good few years with Kyrie, Flagg, and AD. Then they're going to have to retool. Kyrie's going to be getting older. AD is going to be getting older. They already have injury histories. That's not something you want to see out of players who are already into their 30s. You get older, going to be more injury prone. But immediately they can still be a good team. There's too many ifs for me to put them super highly in championship contenders for this year. But I mean, say they are all healthy. The West is just super, super tough. And with all the injury concerns they have on their roster with 2 of their key players, I can't confidently say that this year they will be strong contenders just because of how truly deep the Western Conference is.
Now, Shannon, if nobody's ever had a conversation about basketball with you, I want to apologize for the rest of the masses who haven't gotten your wealth of knowledge when it comes to basketball. You study this, you love this, you've watched a lot of basketball, you've watched generations, and I'm not calling you old, Unc, but it is facts. It is facts. You love your basketball. And you and I were both like, what is Nico Harrison doing? But looking at hindsight and looking at they having Cooper Flagg, because they wouldn't have Cooper Flagg if Luka was still on this team. They would have been a bubble team, maybe a first round exit, and they would have gotten a mid-round pick to build around Luka. But it kind of looks promising.
I've thought about this when you asked this question as everybody was answering. It's too early to tell if Cooper Flagg makes the Dallas Mavericks contenders. It's too early to tell because first and foremost, he doesn't have the whole franchise on his back. He wasn't drafted to a squad that was like, say, the Portland Trailblazers or maybe the Utah Jazz or maybe the Charlotte Hornets. He wasn't Cooper Flagg and who are the rest of these guys? No, he has a crew and a core group around him. But once again, like Aaron said, the injury bug is another question. Also, too, Clay is an older player. Kyrie is going to be coming back in January. So there's going to be a lot of questions that need to be answered. But to answer the question, does Cooper Flagg make the Mavericks a contender? It is too early to tell because one or two things can happen. And I don't pray this happen, even though I'm a Carolina guy. I don't pray this happen, but Cooper could bust. He could. There's always a possibility for these lottery guys to bust. There's a possibility. Do I see that out of Cooper? No, I don't see that out of him at all. I see him as a phenomenal talent. And then number 2, Cooper could exceed expectations. He could be one of those guys that actually just goes out there and just balls out, could be rookie of the year, could be one of those players that's generational, could be a player like a LeBron, possibly could be one of those guys you could build a core around, or he could be middle of the pack. So there's so many things that could happen in this scenario. But as of right now, does he make them a contender on paper? Yes. But we don't play games on paper. We play games on the court, and there's 82 of them. So he needs to go out there and handle his biz before anything is said. But as of right now, on paper, yes.
Hey, on paper, Cooper Flagg is going to be he's going to be a boom. And I'm saying that on Boom Broadcasting. He's going to be a boom. I don't see any potential of this guy being a bust. No. I mean, he's got the frame. He's got the maturity. He literally wants to do everything on the court possible to win a game. And I think that is the exact guy you want in your organization. He is the guy you would trade the farm for. And that may have been Luka Doncic, who was like right into his prime. But Luka, as great of a scorer as he led the league in scoring 2 years ago. He doesn't love defense. That is the knock on Luka Doncic. But we're getting a lot of NBA news when it comes to the free agency period. And some of the news coming in that DeAndre Ayton has opted out of his contract with the Portland Trail Blazers. He might be a favorite to join the Los Angeles Lakers. LeBron, that even though he's opted into his contract for this season, there's questions about LeBron potentially being on the trade block. You go a little bit deeper into that. The Los Angeles Lakers have lost Dorian Finney-Smith, one of their role players for the Lakers. He has signed with the Houston Rockets. So he goes from being a LeBron teammate to a Kevin Durant teammate. And one of the guys that is staying put with a pretty big contract, the Memphis Grizzlies traded Desmond Bane to the Orlando Magic about a week or so ago. Well, now the Grizzlies are deciding to hold on to Jaren Jackson with a massive 5-year, $240 million max deal. This will include a player option in the final year of his deal in 2029 and 2030. But guys, I'm going to go ahead and say with this free agency, and everybody was making fun of me backstage about, you're going to put DeAndre Ayton, on the graphic. Here's my take, and I'm not out of pocket for this. When you look at this free agency pool, this is pretty lackluster compared to previous years. I look at this free agency period, and I'm like, unless you're going to go and trade for a LeBron or a KD or a Giannis, like unless you're trading for one of these players and giving up a lot of draft capital or some of your younger core, you're not going to improve your team on free agency. Where some of the big moves happening, I'm going to just go ahead and say it. Unless it's a trade, there's not this groundbreaking, earth-shattering signing that teams are like flocking towards. So tell me if I'm out of pocket. You might get muted, Around the Horn style. RIP to Around the Horn. Tony Reale. RIP. May you rest in peace. I'm not out of pocket when I say this free agency, kind of not that great. Kind of not that spectacular. Aaron, back me up.
Yeah, I mean, no, you're right. There's not a lot of big names, but this is also a great free agency class for teams to build up their role players or to get solid starters at positions that they're a little weak on. Like, I mean, just for the sake of bringing up the Hornets, because I'm a Hornets fan, they still need a center. I like Ryan Kalkbrenner. He probably shouldn't be the starter day one, and it's going to be tricky even in a weak free agency class to get really any of these guys in Charlotte. I feel like best case scenario for them, like Bol could be solid there, but yeah, it's not top heavy, but there are a lot of solid guys who can fit roles really well in this class.
Shannon, looking outside of Miles Turner, who might as well just return to the Pacers after their trip to the NBA Finals this year. I mean, Shannon, there's no names that excite me.
Nah. This is why it should be known, and this is why I feel this way, is that the draft is where you build. You know, free agency is cool to add trimmings on. That's great. I get it. You know, there are some times where the free agency pool is going to be absolutely incredibly nuts. You're going to have players that are going to be like, hey, I'm ready for a new home. I'm waiting for this. I'm waiting for that. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. You're going to have guys out there that need new homes and want new homes, but their contract may go out. But then you've got guys like KD, who's knowing good and well his contract was gone and he was going to get traded. So, hey, why not request a trade? And then you got DeAndre Ayton's big head right here. You know, hey, you know, I'm getting bought out by the Portland Trailblazers. You got to be tripping first and foremost. You got bought out by the Trailblazers. Lord have mercy. And the Trailblazers need everything, including the girls basketball team in my at Northwoods High School that is in my hometown that went to a state championship. They could probably do better than this squad right here. They probably could, because Lord have mercy, what is going on in Portland? The building has to happen in the draft. These teams have got to get that through their heads. Phoenix found that out the hard way, having to almost get rid of everybody and having no drafts, and then having to get rid of KD and getting draft picks. It's going to have to get to a point where you can't bank everything on free agency. You have to look at it as building from the draft. And I get it. Some drafts are better than others, but this draft was way better than last year's draft. You could find anything in this draft right now and probably feel a need looking at you, Ace Bailey. But there's still a lot in the draft, and there is free agency, and the draft is where you got to do it. But yeah, lackluster free agency. I fell asleep during it. The Jaren Jackson Jr. thing was a good move by the Memphis Grizzlies, I believe, because Jaren Jackson Jr. can ball. But other than that, no.
And Jaren Jackson's a Memphis Grizzly, so he's already off the market. Jason, I mentioned Shannon's wealth of basketball knowledge, but Jason, you're doing an NBA podcast for Boom Broadcasting, and you love basketball. And so you know some of these weird names, like Aaron mentioned, this may not be the splash signing, but this could very well be a asset for teams to just build depth and actually make a run to where they can overcome injuries. I know the Celtics are going to try to overcome injuries based on Tatum's Achilles, trading away Porzingis, trading away some of their players, and Indiana losing Tyrese Halliburton. So do you feel like these teams can still get better when it comes to the free agency period?
Of course they can. This is where GMs and team development need to actually do their jobs. Not every free agency is going to be a splash every year, but this is where you go out and you get value for your team, because, you know, the new salary cap just came out. So, you know, you're going to have your guys making, you know, your superstar player is going to make $50 million a year. Plus you look at like a LeBron James, and you got all these players, you know, how are you going to fill a team around them?
Can
you not hear me?
Yeah, we'll be back. Yeah.
We got you. Don't worry.
Okay,
we're live, by the way.
Make me nervous there. But yeah, this free agency has some value in it. You look at a Josh Giddey, you look at a Miles Turner, look at even Al Horford, who I know he's getting a little older in years, but what team would not like a solid player that has been there, that has won a chip, that can make their team better? You know, this is where teams need to do their due diligence and go out there and fill their rosters and develop these players. Look, even DeAndre Ayton, we're making fun of him a little bit there in the beginning, but, you know, he was a first-round pick. He was a top draft pick. He was in. Yes, I believe he was number one. So, I mean, but you look, he was in Phoenix. What does Phoenix do? What does Phoenix do to develop their players? He went to Portland to essentially die. So how excited are you going to be to play there? If he goes to a team and that team believes in him and believes in his NBA talent, you can get him for not a lot of money, and you can get some value out of him where he's going to make your team better because these rosters are full. I mean, you look at the Indiana Pacers and what they did in their run to the championship. No, it fell a little short, but look how deep that bench was. There's a lot of teams out there that would kill to have a bench like that. And how do you fill that bench? You're going to go out there and get maybe a Russell Westbrook who had a really good season last year. You're going to go out and get maybe a Chris Paul, someone that can develop a young star that you have. You know, you look at the Spurs, which I hope Chris Paul stays with them because I think with Harper, you would have a great mentor to develop you in Chris Paul. So there is value in every free agency. You have to be a GM. You have to be a team that wants to develop these players. If you're going to be good enough to be in the NBA and play basketball, you have value. DeAndre Ayton has value. If he goes somewhere, say like the Lakers, who are dying for a big man, and then next thing you know, you're playing with Luka and LeBron, you think that's not going to build him up and puff his chest out a little bit and want to make him play better? You damn sure it will. He's going to play so much better than he did dying in Arizona and dying in Portland. So, these teams need to do their work, and this is where GMs make their money because, again, look at Indiana, what they did. You need that deep bench to win in the NBA.
Yeah, and want to say a special shout out to Derek Polly. Gents, thanks for a great show as he's eating dinner, enjoying the conversation. This is why we do live streams, so we can acknowledge you, give you a shout out. He does Polly's Pick'em, so if you're into football at all, hey, you need to get connected with Polly and his Polly's Pick'ems. And some of the free agents that are, already off the market, the James Harden, the Nas Reed, the Julius Randle, but Ty Jerome. But there are some players who you want to keep your eye on here in the next couple of days. I mentioned Miles Turner. He would be a fool not to return to Indiana, even if they might have a lost year without Tyrese Halliburton. But Jonathan Kuminga, restricted free agent. Cam Thomas, I have not seen Cam Thomas sign anywhere yet, according to my knowledge. News continues to break. Chris Paul, a veteran point guard, could serve a team very well, especially if they're younger and need a facilitator. Chris Paul, even at his age, can do that. And another interesting note, Malik Beasley, seeing whatever happens with some of the allegations going on with gambling with the sport that we all love as basketball. I mean, there's some storylines to watch out. And guess what? We have you covered because Outta Pocket will be live on Mondays, and we have tremendous content throughout the week on Boom Broadcasting to make sure your fix is met. Now, Shannon brought up a really good point. Sometimes titles are won in the draft. And that is exactly what the Oklahoma City Thunder did, having all of these picks and deciding to use them and maybe make a trade or two. But no, they stayed with it. They got Shai Gilgeous-Alexander from the Clippers. They were able to get Chet Holmgren high in the draft, Jalen Williams, and they just kept building. And, they just kind of came out of nowhere too. And the Utah Jazz, they've been drafting a little higher recently, and they went ahead and got Ace Bailey. Now, I am going to go ahead and say, Ace Bailey, you're out of pocket, and here's why. Just like Shamar Stewart is doing in Cincinnati, you are an idiot. Ace Bailey, why are you doing this, okay? I get it. It's Utah. Nobody wants to relocate to Utah, okay? Unless you're I'll digress. I'll leave that up to your interpretation. Ace Bailey, I know you may not want to play in Utah. They just shipped off Colin Sexton for Nurkic, and you have John Collins, who's always hurt, Walker Kessler, who's like okay. You got Lauri Markkanen. Who knows how long y'all keep him? There's not a lot in Utah, and even when you're not playing basketball, guess what? There's still not a lot in Utah. But how many professional minutes of basketball have you played? 0. You should not have a say in where you go. You shouldn't be declining these meetings with teams before the draft. You shouldn't be. I mean, you're showing your rear end, if I'm being honest. Ace, walk into the league with a little bit of humility and then earn your way around the league. Aaron, I see you squirming a little bit. And I remember last time we were on Out of Pocket and you called me out for being out of pocket, which that in of itself was out of pocket. But this how can you say any different?
Okay. I'm not disagreeing with you on the absurdity of the whole Ace Bailey situation. Yes, he's in Utah now. Everything's supposed to be fine. He didn't look very happy when he got drafted. Kind of insane, but what really bothered me about what you just said was comparing it to the Shamar Stewart situation. That is not at all remotely the same thing. The Bengals are trying to have a clause in his contract that will let them void all of his guaranteed money. He showed up to training camp. He had not yet signed a contract. He was there ready, engaged in contract negotiations. The Bengals are trying to screw him over. That is not remotely what is happening with Ace Bailey. Michael Davis, you, sir, are out of pocket for trying to compare these two situations. They're not the same at all. It's ridiculous. The Bengals, again, trying to screw over Shamar Stewart. That's not what's happening with Ace Bailey and the Jazz at all.
You still have a guy who's never played any professional minutes. Why would Shamar
How can you
want
defend
guaranteed
the Bengals?
contract though?
How can you defend them? No other rookie gets this kind of contract. The Bengals organization, they just don't want to pay their defensive players. When it comes to that side of the ball, they're cheap. They don't want to give him, they want to have a clause that will let them void his guaranteed money. I don't see how you can defend that. If you're in that situation, you are not taking that contract. That's ridiculous because nobody else gets it. No one else has that clause in their contract.
Shannon's cooling off right now. Jason, I think it's comparable. Back me up.
No.
Back me up. Jason, be the voice of reason.
I'm gonna back up a little bit because y'all getting a little heated, so we're gonna temper it down a little bit.
I'm fine.
Look. First things first, I want to talk about. I understand your points, and I get it, but I talked about this again earlier on the show. Ace Bailey is 18 years old. What did any of y'all know when you were 18 years old? Nothing. You guys, these kids have people chirping in their ears where to go, what to do. You got nil money. You got guys, hey, you're going to sign a contract. I want you to wear my shoes, but I don't. If you go here, I may not sign. I mean, there's all this stuff going on. So we got to temper it down a little bit. We're over here blasting an 18-year-old kid because you really think that he's smart enough to know, hey, I'm going to dictate where I'm going to go. No, he's listening to his people. He's listening to his handlers. He's listening to his boys, and he's getting bad advice. So first things first, these young cats that are coming out of school need to learn. They need some better representation because this is what happened to, I put this up to like Shedeur Sanders. So this is kind of like the Shedeur Sanders. This is what happens when you listen to the wrong people. You go in there with the wrong attitude. Now, look, Ace Bailey did not fall in the draft like Shedeur did, but the negative press around him is going to follow him, and that's not fair for an 18-year-old kid. I understand what the Bengals are doing to Shamar Stewart. That's a whole nother thing. Contracts are terrible. In football and basketball, it is hard to compare, especially when you're talking about contracts and young kids. 18 years old. What did anybody know when they were 18 years old? So let's not blast Ace Bailey. I think he's going to be great. I think he's going to play well if he's developed. Yes, he's going to Utah. Utah has not been the best organization the past, 5-10 years, ever since they got rid of D. Mitch and Rudy Gobert has gone down. But don't blast an 18-year-old kid for, he blew off his workout. He's doing this. He's doing that. No, he's not the one doing this. It is whoever's chirping in his ear. It is whoever his handlers are, whoever his representation is. Oh, you need to hold out. Oh, you need to only go here and only work out for these teams. He's not making that decision. Those decisions are being made for him. And this is when like nil money and all this other stuff comes into play, because these kids, they start getting puffed up when they're super young. They start getting a check from all kinds of different people. So they start smelling themselves, and it is blowing up in their faces. And Ace Bailey is a cautionary tale. Look, go out there, work hard, get drafted, be excited you got drafted by an NBA team, and make a name for yourself. He's not getting that kind of advice in his ear. He's getting monetary and the wrong advice in his ear. Now, again, the Shamar Stewart guys, I'll let you fight over that. But look, I need to defend an 18-year-old kid from getting blasted in the media. So that's just my perspective of it.
And if you want to compare a little bit more, I'll sideline the Shamar Stewart comparison for another time. I'm sure Aaron will have a gridiron address where
I will blast you next time I'm on the gridiron address and talk about that, because it is just an insane comparison.
All right.
It's definitely not the same.
We'll schedule our one-on-one wrestling match, and we'll script it to where you lose. We'll script it to where you lose.
I'm not following the script.
It's a shoot. It's a shoot. But I will say this: when you do want to compare, like the opportunity Ace Bailey has, he has the exact same opportunity as Donovan Mitchell had. Did Donovan Mitchell finish his career out in Utah? No. But guess what he did? He showed he was a hard worker, and he showed that he was going to compete for the players and his teammates on the floor. And that is the best thing you can do when you're a rookie. Now, Shan, you are the self-proclaimed unk of Boom Broadcasting in its first year. And so you got a 1-year-old infant YouTube channel you got over here, but you also have an 18-year-old kid who needs to just play basketball wherever he's drafted. If you could sit Ace Bailey down as his unk, what advice would you give him?
First of all, man, you just come your first show back. You getting told you out of pocket and stuff, man. This is fun.
I know.
I like this.
You like it?
Yeah, I like it. This is great, man, because man, it ain't no
drama. The drama.
We're happy and wanting cake and thank you so much. And now we get into real feelings. We finding out how we really feel, and I like it. So yes, now
throwing chairs.
Yes, I love it. Now, if I were Ace Bailey's uncle, sitting down and telling him, first things first, what I would tell him is get the absolute you know what off of social media for the next 8 months. Do not listen to these talking heads. Do not listen to these people that are going to sit around here and try to tell you that you're the best or the worst. Because, of course, if we all understand how social media and the media works, they will highlight your highs and really highlight your lows. And what I feel like in my heart of hearts, I think he had a change of heart more than anything. I think he had a change of heart because, when all that happened with the draft, later on he flies to Utah. He flew on his own. He talks to the media, and he does say he was blessed. He didn't think that he was going to get drafted by Utah. He didn't think that was going to happen. He says, the place was beautiful, this, that, the third. He said all of that stuff. Now, did he mean it? We don't know. Does he have a condescending thought about Utah? We don't know. But with all that being said, when you got these guys in here that want to make a crumb off of him, trust me, I'm a boxing fan, and I know exactly how that was when promoters used to drain fighters out of money, and now you got people like Jake Paul making his own fights and stacking the card for himself. That's a spoiler for Quick Hits tomorrow. Now, when that happens, that's where you start looking at it. Like, these people are corrupt, and these people want to make a crumb off of you, and when it's all said and done, you're toast. Hit the bricks. We're going to go with the next guy that's coming out. And now with Neil money, like Jason was talking about, with Neil money and things of that nature coming out, and these kids are getting paid in college right now. A lot of people thought that guys were going to stay in college, but you had so many freshmen in the draft, and freshmen were taken in the first few picks, lottery-like, if you will. They were taken in the lottery. this is where it's being shown, hey, look, you can pay them in college all day long, but I don't guarantee you that they're going to stay because the NBA is probably going to up their price very, very soon. It's a possibility that that happens. But yet and still, what Ace needs to do is understand you're in Utah for now. This is where you are. If you don't want to be here, we get it. There's going to be a way for you. Maybe you stay in Utah for a while. Maybe you don't. But with all that being said, at the end of the day, you're here to play basketball. These people want to get paid off of you and make money off of you. The better you are, the more they get paid. And the more you do, the more they get paid. And vice versa. If you don't do well, they don't get paid. So with all that being said, it's not a bad spot to go to. Utah's not a bad spot. They actually are on the rise. They did have a good draft this year. But yet still, where you're at is not always going to be where you're going to be.
That is true. And guys, we do have a live show. One of our shows that will not be live, but will be airing tomorrow at noon is Quick Hit. So tell Podcast Smitty, no spoilers. But the thing about a live show is we do have the opportunity to breaking news, and I will let our host of the Gridiron Address and the co-host of Hoops and Helmets break that news. Aaron, what do you have?
So 9 minutes ago, Shams tweeted the Denver Nuggets are trading for Michael Porter Jr. Trading Michael Porter Jr. to the Brooklyn Nets for Cam Johnson and an unprotected 2032 first-round pick.
Oh, that's good. Oh, that's good. That's good.
Joker getting some help. I like it.
Yeah. Finally.
I like it.
He needs it.
So, okay, I do have thoughts on this because this is breaking news when it comes to the NBA free agency period. Michael Porter Jr. traded to Brooklyn along with a first-round pick and coming back to help Nikola Jokic is Cam Johnson. I feel like Michael Porter Jr. never gelled in Denver. I mean, he was a part of that championship team a couple years ago, but Jason, I don't think Michael Porter Jr. was a good team fit.
He was good. He always had these lingering injuries. He could never really get his footing there in Denver. They wanted him to be what Jamal Murray is, and he's not Jamal Murray. He is, he's playing with a bum shoulder. I mean, he came into the league with the bad back. There was a lot of, things that kind of like, hey, why are you drafting this guy? He's got back issues. And he just never really fit because he was always hurt all the time. And they were waiting for him to boom, and he never did. He was just so sporadic. He never scored the way he should have. He was just never really consistent for the Denver Nuggets. So they really needed somebody. And I think this is a great trade for Denver. Michael Porter Jr. gets a fresh start, and Denver gets somebody to play along with Nikola Jokic, best basketball player in the world.
And the Denver Nuggets have also re-signed Bruce Brown on a 1-year deal. So Denver already being active to keep Bruce Brown and to bring Cam Johnson over in a trade. Shannon, good move or not?
For the Porter Jr. trade, getting Cam Johnson, absolutely, because I think Cam Johnson is going to bring some offense to the Denver Nuggets. Whether it's on the bench or off the bench, I do see him starting with the Denver Nuggets. I do see him starting, and that would be good for him. But if not, he will be that fifth option off the bench. Cam Johnson's quick points, very good perimeter shooter. He's a Carolina guy, and so that's good for Denver. But Porter Jr., I don't think, thinking about that, he's a good player, but he did have that bum shoulder. He had some troubles, but he wasn't a bad player. He was serviceable enough for this trade. So more or less, that's good for Denver. I mean, I don't know what's going on with Brooklyn right now, but it's not really that great. They're rebuilding. I was watching Hoops and Helmets, and I heard Carson bag the Brooklyn Nets about their trade. I mean, about their draft. They didn't do so well. I think they had a lot of draft picks and drafted a whole bunch of guards, which was very crazy to me. But and Porter Jr. I believe is a swingman. I believe he can. I think he swings between guard and forward, so that could help them out. But I think Cam going to Denver is good.
Okay. And you bring up your UNC Tar Heels, and that just kind of makes me want to vomit in my mouth. I'm sorry if you guys are enjoying Out of Pocket with some of your din tonight. And okay, we don't need any of that. We don't need any of that. Shannon,
I'll do it. I'll do it.
Don't you dare.
Don't make me do it.
Dare. Don't you dare. I will go Tony Reale on this show.
I got you hostage.
I'll go Tony Reale on this show.
Don't make me do it.
Aaron, don't you do it.
I'll do it. And it's fresh batteries.
Jason, thank you. I will gladly take
and
a
it's fresh
Tony
batteries.
Reale.
It's fresh batteries too. I'll do it.
Do it.
Shannon, you know
I'll
what?
mute you, Shannon, don't worry about it.
I cannot wait for bragging rights when Duke beats UNC again this year in football and 3 times in basketball. But I also can't wait to plug in my PS5.
It's there.
Boot it up.
Push the button.
Don't push the button.
Push it.
I do it.
Don't push it.
Do it.
You're pushing my buttons right now. Don't push that one.
I've never had anybody in a hostage. I've never had anybody in a hostage situation. This is great. I'll do it. I'll do it.
Sean. I love Sean. And I also love video games. Video games. If you're a fan of MJF, you know that. But what we have is we have EA Sports granting our wish. You realize that is an old picture on the screen. If you're watching on the Boom Broadcasting YouTube channel that turns 1 year old tomorrow, you recognize that picture of a very, 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 very young Blake Griffin. Blake Griffin. Okay, just to put into context, Blake Griffin last played in the NBA in 2023. He's 36 years old. He was Lob City himself, but he was the last cover athlete of the EA Sports college basketball video game. We had a full Blake Griffin career between one game to another. EA Sports is bringing back the college basketball video game. And if you are not a video game fan, I don't play as much as I used to just because I'm running around like, my head's cut off like a chicken. By the way, we need to get sponsored by, some chicken restaurants locally. If you know any, we would love that sponsorship right there. And I could eat that said chicken on air a lot. So get your connections going and we'll get Out of Pocket a sponsor in its new season. And what we have is just an incredible. What's going on? Hold up.
Uh-oh. Wait. What have you got? I'll do it.
You got chicken. Oh.
Do we have? This is pretty cool. Shout out to our
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Boom Broadcasting. Happy birthday to you.
This is a live stream. I did not expect this. Shout out to our staff.
Make a wish.
AKA the Rents. Wow. This is pretty cool. Happy 1 year. We're almost 1 hour into our anniversary celebration for Boom Broadcasting on Out of Pocket. Joined by Shannon, Jason, and apparently Aaron's ghost. This is pretty cool. I'm gonna blow this out I'm not going to tell anybody my wish, or else it won't come true. But I have to blow this out before the candle wax gets on my. Well, I can't say this on air because we're not sponsored yet, but we'll see what our sponsors can do. All right, guys. Here's
Just
the one here.
don't wish for a Cowboys Super Bowl, please. Don't ruin the wish.
It's not gonna happen.
Don't ruin the wish.
You had to ruin this moment.
It's
Really?
not gonna happen. Either way, that's a wish that's not gonna come true.
Aaron, you had to ruin this. Guys,
Oh.
guys, we're trying to celebrate Boom Broadcasting.
Yes.
Don't ruin this moment.
I already sang for you, brother.
Yep.
I know that ruined the moment itself.
Oh, dang!
Damn,
Hey,
shots fired.
For our
That's
wrestling fans, we're here.
Yeah. Woo!
Official. I love it. That's
I
good stuff.
promise this smoke is from the candles.
Ha ha.
Well, thank you guys. We're
awesome.
going strong. Just like EA Sports is coming on strong. We got some comments. Answer the call. They do a really good show. Do a lot of AFC West content with Cody from Drew Code Sports Talk. Shout out to him. Paulie, seeing what AI can do with sponsors. Gotta get Jason on the karaoke circuit.
I
got stories.
Let's do it.
I got stories about doing karaoke with Sean Lucas, guys.
Uh-oh.
Hey, don't say my wish or it won't come true. It doesn't matter, I guess, in that regard. Hey, it wasn't that out of pocket. You know, it's just
It's all
out
love.
of pocket with Michael Davis. We
It's
got
all
our
love.
celebration. Hopefully this isn't cardboard. I hear a lot of TV studio productions do that. But college basketball's coming back. How excited are you? College football made its return last year. It took the gaming system by storm. Aaron, I don't like what you're holding up. So I'm going to deflect to Shannon first. Because Shannon did some Techno Bowl last year for Boom Broadcasting. So he knows a thing or two about video games. This probably won't be on the old gen consoles though, Shannon. So are you going to get a new gen console for this game?
Of course. I mean, I did for football. I mean, so I got on the bandwagon, and it stares at me now. Unfortunately, me not staring at it. But since I've been on vacation now, I've had a little bit of time to catch up. But it's still great. It's still for nostalgia. It's awesome because I remember loading up college football and playing and winning the national championship and being player of the year and all that other stuff. It's great. I'm looking forward to it. I know a lot of people looking forward to it. And since you brought up Blake Griffin, you know that Blake Griffin took a nail to the Tar Heels in the tournament the year that the Carolina Tar Heels won the national championship. I love it. I love how it all comes together. I love it. And I will push it. If you say it, I'll
Do it.
Is Mike hacking our account or something?
I don't know
this
what's
has happened a
happening.
lot for Boom. It's mounted off with Mike hacking our live stream right now again.
Oh, for real?
I don't see him in here. That was happening to me the other day.
Oh,
I don't know what's going on.
If it's you, I'll push it. If it's
This
you.
is creepy. This is creepy.
If
This
it's
is
you, I'll
creepy.
do it. Uh-oh.
Okay, it should be fixed now. Yeah.
Yeah. See, Mike, you can't hack us that well again. Okay. That is a good callback. I did hack his
Yep.
account so we could announce Boom Broadcasting was officially debuting. So that's what I was doing this year or this time last year. So I guess he's getting us back. Good, funny joke, whatever.
Wow.
Aaron, I don't know if you got that college football game. Are you going to get this college basketball game?
Yeah, I got 25. I pre-ordered 25. I pre-ordered 26. Definitely buying the new college basketball game. It'll be the first time I'll paid full price for a basketball game in over a decade. The last one I bought was 2K15. Full price, I should say.
That is a good one. Jason, you're the basketball guy with the basketball podcast. I don't know how much time you have for gaming. I know you're a big Legos guy. You going to see about this new game?
I'd like to check it out because that'd be interesting. I mean, you're talking about 2009 was the last time they had an NCAA basketball game. So just imagine how much the graphics have changed. And I'll be interesting to see how they do the transfer portal in the game with some of the different ways you can kind of create your own team. So it's going to be interesting to see. I'd love to play it. My son's getting old enough. We're looking at trying to get him a little system here. So we're going to try to decide on whether we go on PS or we go on Xbox. So we'll have to make that decision. So once we get one of those in the house, I'm sure I'll have some daddy's games up in there too. So that it's pretty cool that they're coming out with NCAA again. But we'll see if this has any negative repercussions too, because I think the nostalgia is great. But, with guys wanting to get paid and their likeness and all this other stuff, we'll see if that ugly mess gets kind of into this. But kudos to EA Sports. It's in the game. Let's bring it. I think a lot of people need it back. So you're flashing forward from 2009, 16 years later. Here we go. This game better be like flawless because you've had 16 years to develop it. So there better not be any glitches. The players better look amazing. Let's go.
And I've wanted this game for so long, and I wanted the college football game, but the college football game being released last year made this possible. And the fact that they did capitalize on the nostalgia with the new gen feel makes me really excited for college basketball. And I want to play in Cameron Indoor with the Cameron Crazies and beat that ugly hat off Aaron's head. But until then, I just got to kick Aaron off Out of Pocket. Aaron, you have been a really big part of Boom Broadcasting. You've been a good personal friend of mine. I hate that we're not in driving distance of each other anymore, but it's great that we can close this gap through Boom Broadcasting and the content we're doing. Who hacked the Boom Broadcasting Facebook page? Whoa! No! How's that happen?
Who could have possibly done that, Michael?
Whoa!
Get this off!
Yes.
Oh my!
It's not
goodness.
on the YouTube too. Aaron, say your final goodbyes before we mute your microphone. And oh my gosh, there's so many. I knew our 1 year anniversary would have all these technical difficulties.
Well, I wouldn't call it technical difficulties. I'd call it a nice little perk, if anything. But Michael, I appreciate you having me on. I'm happy Out of Pocket's going to be back. I'm super excited for the new college basketball game. I do have to head out, but I know it's going to be a great show for the rest of the time that y'all are on. I'll try and maybe catch a little bit of it, but yeah, with that, I'm heading out. And before I go, just one more thing. It's a good day to be a Tar Heel.
That's disgusting. All right, you can leave now. But guess what? He did say, all right, let's get this off. And Podcast Committee bringing the official numbers to the NBA free agency. Dorian Finney-Smith to the Houston Rockets, 4-year, $53 million. Jason, you say that's big. Why?
Yeah. Look, the Houston Rockets with that Kevin Durant trade, I put them up there to winning the championship next year. And you talk about that. Now you have Amen Thompson and you have Alfred Sengun. You put Dorian Finney-Smith on there too. Love it. What do you got?
He's not the only one going to Houston. The Rockets just agreed to a 3-year, $21.5 million deal with Clint Capella. Clint Capella is going to Houston.
Wow. See, you talk about a stacked team now. Again, I talked about that deep bench. Look at Houston right now. They are loaded. They are going to rocket to the moon next year. If this team stays healthy, knock on wood. I hate talking about health a lot of the times, but man, right now on paper, I still have Oklahoma City number 1. Again, check out the show 3 from Deep. I give you my top 5. But right now, Houston is a solid 2, man. They were second in the West last year with the team they had. Now they just added Kevin Durant, Capella, and Dorian Finney-Smith. Oh, Houston, we have liftoff.
Shannon?
This is going to help the Rockets tremendously because the young core, then they have some offense. That's another thing with the trade for KD because like Jason says, I love that phrase that he has about KD. He's a mercenary. He's points for hire. That's exactly what he is. And this time around, he can actually be that because
Yeah.
he can add to the boards. He can add to a defensive side. Sure, he can. But Houston already has that down pat. They have that impact. They got outscored by the Golden State Warriors in the first round of the playoffs because they just were not able to answer back. So this is big for the Houston Rockets. The Western Conference is getting stronger and stronger. And, OKC is going to, and I've got my thoughts on OKC. I have my thoughts on them if we get further into the NBA talks later on in the summer. It doesn't have to be today. It doesn't have to be, it could be next week. But I got my thoughts on OKC, and everybody right now needs to mount up because OKC, they going back. I think that they're going back. They talked about no dynasties and 7 teams won 7 championships in 7 years. And people hated super teams at one point in time, and now they want them back. It's like you don't know what you want. You need to stop. But OKC, they're different. And I think that they have the possibility. They may not be like win 3 straight, like might not 3-peat it, may not 4-peat it, but I think they'll be like the Spurs and win 3 in 4 years or 3 in 5 years or 4 in 6 years. I think they may be a squad like that. I really think they are with the way that they're built and the way that they're doing in the draft, especially with this draft right here with an already stacked team. So there's a possibility that they could be that team that'll win 3 out of 5.
If they keep their young core together. And that's why I don't love what Houston's done. And I'm sure I'm going to have plenty of time to talk about it this offseason, especially when we get a clearer picture of what free agency has done for the Rockets, because you do get Kevin Durant, who is a scorer. He's a shooter, but he's older. He doesn't play as much. You give up your leading scorer from last year, Jalen Green.
No.
It does matter because if Kevin Durant's not available, does he move the needle? I'm just glad Miami didn't go after Kevin Durant.
Not impressed. I mean, this is what you also have to understand. This is not the NBA that Jason and I grew up with. This is not the physicality where it is big. KD can pick his spots and pick you apart and score maybe 20, 27, 28 a game. There's a possibility that he can do that, especially with the way the Rockets space the floor on offense. There is a possibility that he could rack up over 25 a game. I don't see
no doubt.
I don't see that. I don't see KD having an off night shooting. He can shoot it anywhere and get a shot off anywhere. The possibilities are endless. And Ime Udoka is licking his chops right now with this squad here. If he's not, then I don't know who is, because he's going to have. This is going to be a scary squad. This squad is scary. If they keep everybody healthy, once again, like Jason said, if they're healthy, this is a scary squad right here. This is a squad that could get at OKC in the Western Conference.
Well, we'll have to see exactly how Kevin Durant gels with the Houston Rockets. I'm sure that's going to be a talking point as well on 3 from deep. As we see a little bit more. Drew Code saying this is a sad day for the Lakers, losing out on Finney Smith, losing out on a couple other guys that could have helped the Lakers. LeBron may be traded. Some of those reports or rumors are swirling. Drew Code Sports Talk also bringing up the Cam Johnson trade again. Aaron and Shannon love their little Tar Heel parade. I gotta watch it. I don't want to force Shannon's hand to push the button. But we'll see. We'll see how the Kevin Durant trade moves the needle. A trade that happened in the NFL. Out pocket. We just been talking about boom broadcasting or basketball, but we also talk about football. And the Pittsburgh Steelers have stolen Jalen Ramsey away from the Dolphins. They have stolen him away from the rest of the NFL, looking for a corner. But what baffles me, guys, as Shannon just loses it for no reason. It wasn't that funny. It wasn't that funny.
No, that's hilarious, man. You stole him? What do you mean? They gave up. They had to give up something. For real, they had to give up something. They gave up one of their best safeties. And they got Jalen Ramsey. But keep going. I didn't mean to interrupt you. My bad.
Yeah. And don't worry. We will definitely get there when it comes to guess what? Minkah Fitzpatrick is back in Miami. But for Jalen Ramsey, I mean, not only do the Steelers get Jalen Ramsey, they get Jonnu Smith, which I'll specifically ask Jason about here in a couple minutes. But Jalen Ramsey himself, the Pittsburgh Steelers have him. They have Joey Porter Jr. They have Darius Slay, but they give up Minkah Fitzpatrick. Fitzpatrick held his own at the safety position. Do you foresee Joey Porter Jr. or Darius Slay or Jalen Ramsey, like one of them playing the safety position for Pittsburgh, just to fill in the gap for Minkah Fitzpatrick? Because if that was the case, the trade doesn't make sense because you're pulling one of these guys away from their natural position of cornerback. But you have Ramsey, you have Slay, and you have Porter Jr. I mean, those are three of the better corners, even at Ramsey's age, even at Slay's age too. Jason, makes sense of this trade. Like, what really enticed Pittsburgh to do this?
I really do not know. This is an interesting move. It's not like Jalen. It's not like you're getting the 5 years ago Jalen Ramsey. Look, Pittsburgh needs to be concerned about TJ Watt and that contract. Why they're doing this trade, and I don't know. I love getting Jonnu Smith, and we'll talk about Jonnu Smith here in a second. I think that is the diamond in the rough in this trade here, especially for an Aaron Rodgers. Needs a tight end safety valve, so Jonnu Smith. But man, you talked about the stealing. Raheem Mostert, who just signed with the Raiders, blasted the Dolphins on social media about becoming a NFL Pro Bowler, and you get treated like shit. So excuse my language, but yeah, he blasted the Dolphins because Jonnu Smith has a super Pro Bowl season and then gets traded away. So this is an interesting trade. I don't know why you get rid of Fitzpatrick, why Pittsburgh did this. I have no clue. I love the Jonnu Smith pickup. I think they needed another tight end that can, he needed another tight end to throw to, but man, I don't know. I don't get it. They need to focus on getting TJ Watt signed. I don't know if this is some kind of smokescreen for something else.
And especially Shannon, like you start talking about contracts with it. Could that have been a reason to make the Jalen Ramsey deal? Or I'm still trying to make sense of this.
I think it had to be the contract as well too. But I think Jalen Ramsey is going to go to safety. I really think he is because, like you said, this isn't the Jalen Ramsey that we saw with the Rams. That was the lockdown corner. And you've seen this with some of these corners as they gotten older. Aeneas Williams was one of those guys. Lockdown corner with the safety at the tail end of his career because, he doesn't have the speed that he has. And these young guys are faster than he is. So, he can still cover. He can still tackle. So put him in as a safety. And I think that would be fine. I mean, Jalen Ramsey can read a defense. So, put him back there and let him handle biz. But I think Jonnu Smith was what the Steelers really wanted because, they've got a passer now. They got, even though he's 40 years old on a bad leg. I will say that until he retires. I think that Aaron Rodgers is not a bad idea for a 1-year gig, for a 1-year deal, for a farewell tour. It's not bad for him in Pittsburgh. I think that's okay. But they have to get him people to throw the ball to. And he's got DK Metcalf now. He's got a Jonnu Smith. He's gonna be fine. It looks like throwing the football, and he's got a receiver. He's got a running back in the backfield that can actually make plays. So he's not on the island like he was with the Jets, even though the Jets catered to him too much. He still has people, but I'm with Jason on this one. TJ Watt is the guy that I would be really worried about because that's your defense right there. You talk about Nick Bosa, your boy in Dallas,
Micah Parsons.
Yeah,
Micah Parsons.
TJ Watt, those guys right there are your cornerstones.
Move the needle.
Defense. And you let them go for nothing? I mean, this is super ugly here. You don't want that. I'd be okay with an old Jalen Ramsey on the discount, but not losing TJ Watt, which is your defense. No.
Which is exactly why the Cowboys will re-sign Micah Parsons. But I'm sure Dad and
Yeah,
I will talk about that.
I'm
sure Dad and I will talk about that on Dad and the Boys.
And if you don't, that'll be another Dallas move that is dumb.
Okay, we'll re-sign him. We'll re-sign him. Don't worry. We may take forever. We may take forever.
Boys, when you don't, I want to be on there.
Shan got a couple shout outs on our
yes. Y'all been talking junk, and I'm tired of it. I mean, for real. And another reason for me to do it. And another reason to do it. You better not. You better not have me on Out of Pocket ever again for the rest of this year, as long as I've got this thing, because I will hold you at gunpoint every episode. I will do it. Do it.
Michael's gonna sneak over his house and take it out of his house.
You
better watch it. He knows where you live. You gotta watch it. He's gonna come over the house. He gonna bribe somebody to get that thing out of there.
While I'm over there, I'm going to just go ahead and tell you. That way we can tell the popo. I'm going to gently lift Shannon's head while he sleeps. I'm going to slip that pillowcase off, and I'm going to go to Walmart. I'm going to get a regular pillowcase. I'm going to print the Duke logo right on that pillowcase, and I'm going to slide that pillowcase on Shannon's. And I'm going to lower Shannon's head. But you know what? I'm not just going to do that. I'm going to roll Shannon's face over so where he's lip to lip with the Blue Devil. That's exactly what I'm going to do. And I want that on recording for when it happens, because the popo will probably say, "Hey, good job. That was impressive." Sleeping like a baby. If you want to help me out with some like magnesium on your feet or some like melatonin, some Benadryl, that would really help too. You know, you don't want to wake a sleeping giant. But speaking of giant, Jason's a Giants fan, but I'm not going to ask him about Giants because his expertise is really not teams, but fantasy football. Jonnu Smith going from Miami to Pittsburgh. You're going to have sideline savants this fall. How does Jonnu Smith's fantasy impact the Pittsburgh Steelers now and fantasy owners?
This is going to be tough. Look, Jonnu Smith had a phenomenal Pro Bowl year last year. From week 7 to week 18, he was a top 10 tight end, had over 8 touchdowns last year. He was a fantasy football monster for a lot of people out there. So now he goes to Pittsburgh. They run the ball a lot. They also have Freiermuth. So now he's got a share. Freiermuth had 7 touchdowns last year. So now you've got a share of the ball. Can Aaron Rodgers, distribute? They did lose George Pickens, so they don't have a huge wide receiver core there in Pittsburgh. So this remains to be seen. This is an interesting move. And again, I'm surprised that Jonnu Smith was a part of this package, because to me, I think he was the bigger piece than Jalen Ramsey. Look, Jalen Ramsey, again, is not who he used to be, but Jonnu Smith is a Pro Bowl tight end. And that in the NFL is rare fruit. So when it comes to fantasy football, I hope Jonnu Smith continues what he did last year. Look, Aaron Rodgers is going to need a safety valve. Yes, they're going to run the ball, but I don't see him being able to throw the ball, 40, 50 yards down the field like he used to, the gunslinger that he used to. Look, he's got to get rid of the ball quick and in a hurry, because he can't move. He is literally a statue back there. So 2 tight end set, I can see Jonnu Smith getting a lot of those catches. So he's still going to be a great pickup in fantasy football. I just hope that this move doesn't turn him off, because he had a phenomenal year last year. So, but watch out, get Jonnu Smith. If you have not yet in your fantasy football leagues, or if you have a dynasty league, but when you do your draft, because I think Jonnu Smith is still going to be a top 10 tight end in fantasy football this year.
Well, that is there's not a lot of great tight ends. I mean, you got Travis Kelce, if he can, keep to his fountain of youth.
Mr. Swift.
You have Trey McBride. I mean, you have a couple Brock Bowers, But
Brock
I mean,
Bowers is a beast.
top 10, like especially if the Steelers go with Aaron Rodgers as their quarterback, then there would be able to have Jonnu Smith as a top 10 tight end as a security blanket, especially since I don't believe that Aaron Rodgers is going to push the ball down the field as much as he could. But we'll be covering all of this on Outta Pocket, on Boom Broadcasting, and the YouTube channel as we keep going. We got a wrestling segment to get to. But Jason, I just hit you with a fantasy football question. I hit you with some NBA talk as we've covered the NBA free agency. Kerry Levert also just signing with the Detroit Pistons and making Malik Beasley's return to Detroit
That's a good one.
on the fence. So
that's a good one.
Kerry Levert can stay healthy, could help the Detroit Pistons keep moving forward with that young core. But Jason, I appreciate you coming on Outta Pocket today. I appreciate your contributions to Boom Broadcasting since you've come on. Probably around August, September is when you hopped on, and you've taken the ball and run with it. You've jumped on every podcast you possibly could. You always come prepared and professional. You've got the paper notes. You have done above and beyond what I could ever imagine. And so would you have any parting words for the audience here today?
Look, I'm just honored. I'm honored to be here. This is a great, great place to be, the Boom Broadcasting Network. Guys, if you've not logged and subscribed yet, you need to do so. Tell your friends, tell your family. This is only the beginning. This was only year one. Just think what year two is going to bring. We have more shows coming out. I can't wait to bring Sideline Savants back out. We're going to have 3 from Deep is going to be even better this coming up NBA season. We got some other things. We're cooking up some stuff in the lab here as we speak, but I am honored. I'm honored to be on here. Mr. Davis, thank you so much for having me here, having me a part of this family. And it's a family with Shannon and everybody else in this Boom Broadcasting family. Shout out to the commissioner who literally brought me on as a guest. I had no idea I could even remotely do something like this. So you guys have given me the confidence to be able to sit here in front of the people and do this. So I thank you all from the bottom of my heart. I am honored. So
hey,
blessings. Thank you.
I appreciate you, Jason. You can catch his 3 from Deep episode that dropped earlier this afternoon at 12. It's available on demand on the Boom Broadcasting YouTube channel. But Jason, we appreciate you. We're going to keep rolling. Okay. We got one more thing to get to. And Shannon also dropping the news that Ty Jerome going from the Cavs to the Grizzlies, pairing with Jaren Jackson. That's not a bad move. And they're also looking to move away from Cole Anthony. So UNC Tar Heel getting shipped. Nobody wants a Tar Heel. I'm not surprised. And, of course, bringing up D'Angelo Russell to the Mavs. He has a player option for his second year. So that is something we also have to keep in mind. Podcast Smitty, our journey started at a local restaurant. And I heard you over talking about some basketball. I'm like, hey, I got a sports show. Let's go talk some basketball. And of course, you're wearing a Magic jersey. We talked about basketball a lot, but I think our partnership, our friendship really blossomed when we found out that we were both professional wrestling fans. And we've done a lot of stuff together. We've done Drop the Mic wrestling podcast. That's also on Boom Broadcasting. We did a Panthers podcast together for a time, even though neither of us are Panther fans. We've done commentary for Squared Circle Champions. They upload their episodes on YouTube. And the previous episode, it had over like 3,000 views. It was like 3.8 thousand views the last time I checked. There will be a new episode dropping anytime now. They'll be making their return to the local area in September. You guys can come meet Shannon and myself as we do commentary. But we also follow the main product. We follow WWE. And spoiler alert, Cody Rhodes is king of the ring. Shannon, that begs a question. We had the chance this past weekend to either have a rematch of Randy Orton and John Cena at SummerSlam, or we had a match for Cody Rhodes and John Cena. And the last time these two were in the ring was WrestleMania. Cody dropped his WWE Championship to Cena. Now, Shannon, I'm a little concerned because Cody Rhodes, could he take a second loss to John Cena? If Cody Rhodes isn't the one to reclaim the title off John Cena, who is? And I would honestly think it would have been the final appearance for John Cena at the end of the year before Cody could take the title. Now, this begs a question, because if Cody does reclaim the throne, not only as King of the Ring, but as WWE Champion at SummerSlam, then maybe we get a John Cena redemption arc, and maybe that's where we need to go with it. But is Cody Rhodes the right challenger for John Cena at SummerSlam, or do you think they're cashing in this rematch just a little bit too early? For me, I see the reason to do it at SummerSlam, and I don't think I'm out of pocket for saying Cody must win at SummerSlam so that we have 4 months of a redemption arc for Cena with the WWE Universe. Am I out of pocket for saying that Cena's heel run needs to be about 4 months?
You know what? I'm really loving John Cena's heel turn. I like it. Like everything about it. John Cena getting receipts from everybody. And that is the main thing about it, is that Cena is doing that. Cody's the right guy, because I don't think anybody wants to see another Randy Orton John Cena match. I don't think they want to. I think it's Cody and John Cena. And I think still that I think John Cena still wins it. I really think he does. I really think John Cena still keeps the title, because Cena's heel run was getting kind of stale until the pipe bomb. Until that happened. That was like, oh my gosh, he's still the heel. And then, of course, with the match with CM Punk that he had with Night of Champions, once again, teasing a face turn. He's teasing it. And then he makes that face when he hugs CM Punk. And it's like, there it is. I think right now, John Cena, I don't think he does a redemption tour. I don't think he does. Not now. I think he's going to leave out as a face. I think he is going to leave out as a face. I think it would be blasphemous to have him leave out as a heel. They don't want that Andre the Giant treatment, when Andre the Giant went out as a heel and then they had to bring him back as a face so he could go out as a face. I don't see that happening, but I think that we get a little bit more of John Cena as a heel until about the time for him to go. But Cody's the right guy. Cody's the one that should wrestle John Cena. He should.
And he wins it at SummerSlam?
No.
No,
I don't think so. I think we get another Cody. I think we get another Cody Cena match. I think we do, but I don't think he loses. I don't think he wins it at SummerSlam. I don't think so. Give me till maybe Survivor Series, and we'll talk about it. Maybe. I would say give me the Survivor Series.
We'll talk about it.
Yeah. What do you guys want to talk about?
What do you want to talk about?
Oh, man. I mean, I had to find a way to fit that in there, because I say that every day. Like, even though people don't like it, I don't know why they don't. It's so bland that Cody says is, that's like the best way to start a conversation. I do it every day. So what do you want to talk about?
Hey, he's still in catchphrases. But yeah, we had sneaky in some wrestling because we got the nightcap with Mouthing Off with Mike. Apparently Raw started like a lot sooner than 8 o'clock. So you can catch up on Netflix if you have the app for that. And we'll be covering content for that. Boom Broadcasting has content for the entire week. And I also want to do a little surprise for the people, because there has been a show that is not officially returning yet. But since you guys have stayed with us for an hour and a half of Outta Pocket's return, I did want to say that you can celebrate July 4th with a little podcast action, because one of the shows that I did when Boom Broadcasting aired was Man Behind the Mic. And so we are not returning for season 2 quite yet, but we will be dropping a special episode talking about Boom Broadcasting, talking about what we got to experience, everything that went into this. I know I was a little sentimental the first few minutes of the show today, but I'm going to do a deep dive into what the Man Behind the Mic was, what Boom Broadcasting, how it came to be, and just the entire journey of this year. So if you're one of our content creators, or if you're one of our 540 plus subscribers, that episode will be for you. And of course, we got wrestling podcasts, talk some WWE, we got Drop the Mic. We got quick hits tomorrow with podcast_Smitty. And so we got you covered. But Shannon, you've been here for the entire ride of Boom Broadcasting. You debuted that first week. Do you have any encouraging words for this Boom Broadcasting 1-year birthday party?
Moss grows on the north side of the tree. I don't know. I mean, I thought I wanted to be different and everything, but nah, I will say this. If it wasn't for this guy right here to my proverbial left or right, whichever one you want to say, there would be no podcast Smitty, no quick hits, none of that in between. This was a dormant dream that I left behind and thought would never happen. I can say, like I said in my very first episode of Quick Hits, that I can die and know that I fulfilled something off of my bucket list, a lifelong dream of mine. This is really great. This guy that is beside me right now was probably one of the toughest individuals that I've ever met in my entire life, and I've been alive pretty long. Longer than him and longer than others on this group of guys here, but every last one of you here under the sound of my voice, all 541 subscribers, everyone watching, all the guys on the Boom team, thank you guys so much for giving me a platform. January through about maybe the beginning of March was kind of tough for me, and I stepped away and I contemplated not coming back. But if it wasn't for John Cena's heel turn, I don't think I would have returned. And that sparked me, and I stayed up all night and did a quick hit for that. And everything started flooding back, and I made sure that I didn't miss a beat after that. And I will not miss a beat, because you will get an episode of Quick Hits tonight if I have to stay up at 12 a.m., which I probably will, and send it to you about 12 a.m. tonight. And then Friday, you will get the WNBA content. And there's a possibility that a live podcast may come out of this guy named Podcast Smith. Get the Pass may return, where I do get to interview all the guys from Boom Broadcasting and maybe interview some other people and maybe do a live column like Outta Pocket. Maybe one day. I'm still adding on to the arsenal, still adding on to everything as we speak. But until then, thank you guys very much for something I thought I would never see or never do. Thank you, Michael Davis, for the platform. Thank you, Boom team. Thank you, all the subscribers. There is more to come in 2025 and through 2026. And as always, I'm Shannon Smith, and this is Quick Hits.
That came through, busted my nose. I'm gonna let you go before you redirect my nose in a direction I don't want it to go. But Shannon's got Quick Hits tomorrow at noon. So you guys will want to check that out. If you're can't wait, he's got some on demand through our Boom Broadcasting YouTube channel. You guys can check out. But appreciate you joining me, guys. This is crazy to think about, that we are a year into Boom Broadcasting, and July 1st, 2024 is what started a boom period in the broadcasting industry. And I am so thankful to do this ride with you guys. It's not my channel. Just FYI, it's not my channel. It's not the Michael Davis Network, okay? It's the collaboration. It's a conglomerate of so many people who want to see this succeed and want to have a platform to talk about their passions. and most of all, give you an escape to the real day, ordinary life. You know, you might be struggling at your job, you might be struggling in your personal life, but our goal is to give you content that you can escape from. And so that's what we do here at Boom Broadcast. And Outta Pocket gets to be a part of that. Outta Pocket's taken a lot of forms over the years. We got a new logo in the corner. Shout out to Cody from Drew Code Sports Talk for helping with that. But the big thing with this right here is we're not going anywhere. We are staying right here. We are staying on the Boom Broadcasting YouTube channel, and we're going to continue giving you more and more content. We got new shows in the pipeline, and we're going to do our very best to entertain you. Outta Pocket will be live starting tonight on Monday evenings. We did 6:30 tonight. We might do 7 o'clock in the future to get you settled. You know, maybe you eat dinner at 6:30 and maybe you want to have some family time. Maybe you wait till 7 o'clock to do dinner so you can eat with us just like Paulie did. But guys, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for commenting. If you haven't subscribed yet and this is your first time joining, hit that subscribe button. It's free and it helps support the content creators continue to bring you amazing stuff. But guys, for myself, Michael Davis, thank you to Aaron. Thank you to Jason. Thank you to Shan. Thank you to our content creators. And thank you to all of you watching. This has been Outta Pocket with Michael Davis on Boom Broadcasting. And we'll see you here next Monday.